Hello and welcome everyone. This is James Bishop with Market Traders Institute. If you can hear the sound of my voice, give me a Y or yes right now that you can hear the sound of my voice. That would be wonderful. And then also, as I take over control of the screen, I just want to make sure that you can see my screen. You should see a blue screen with a picture of myself as well as our guest speaker today, Chris Irvin, that says control change with options. If you can see both of those, give me a Y or yes in that question box right now. And thank you, Jam, G, James, Ellie, Phil, Tony, Bob, Fernando, wonderful. Now, I want to welcome every one of you, and again, my name is James Bishop. I'm going to be one of your hosts for today's presentations. And I'm excited to have the chance to speak with you. We have a special treat in store for each and every one of you because Chris Irvin, an options expert, is here to speak with you today about the power of trading options. Chris is going to give us some insights into the current market, and you're going to want to stick around for that. Let's also do another and one final audio video check. If you can see me, hear me, then we will go ahead and get started. I think everybody can see it and hear it. Wonderful. At this point, I'm going to take 15 minutes of this presentation to help get your mind right when it comes to trading and investing. Before we kick things off, I want everyone to know that neither I nor my guest speaker, Chris Irvin, are financial advisors, nor are we registered representatives. So when we speak today about stock trades, we are not making buy, sell, or hold recommendations. Is everyone clear on that? Give me a yes if you're clear on that. Okay, there we go. Now I want you all to get the most out of this presentation, and I know that when I speak to a large group of people, that those that get the most out of it respond to the questions that I ask. So let me ask real quick. When either I or Chris Irvin ask a question, what do you think we're looking for? That's right, an answer. Now, if you didn't respond, then you're only setting yourself up for experience. It's the best for you today. So let's try it one more time, guys. What do you think when we ask a question that we're looking for? Phil's with me. That's it, only two? There we go, an answer. Now, I know that asking questions in your mind. When they do come up, please jot them down in this chat box and we'll try to answer them. I promise that if I cannot answer them for you or Chris can't answer them for you, we will make sure that with each and every one of you to make sure all of your questions get answered today. So let's get started. My first question, how many of you are interested in learning a strategy that could generate a 400% return based on that is taking place in the next couple of weeks? If you could learn the strategy 400+% return, would that education change something in your life? Says yes. Dave says yes. Mike says yes. Roger's with me. G is with me. Jack, Tim, Eli, and Ellie as well. Christopher. That is very rare to have an Eli and Ellie back-to-back, and it makes it difficult, that's for sure. Based on those yes, how many came here today to change something about your life? Now, maybe it's the amount of money that you make, or maybe it's how long it takes to money. Whatever it is, give me a yes if that's you. Now, you're probably sitting there wondering, how do I make that change? Well, if you're going to change something in your life, the thing you have is change the way you think. To be the best trader, you must change the way you think. How you think about trading, and to change your perspective on wealth and income. Change the way you look at the market. Because we all know that the stock market is a pretty good place to make some money, isn't it? Now, some of you are saying, you know, I don't have the tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to put into the stock market. I want you to know that's okay, because we're going to introduce to you something called options. And as a bonus, we are going to show you tons of opportunity for those that have less than $10,000 to invest. That's going to give you a chance to trade with the big boys. We're also going to cover options basics and introduce you to the leverage of options that allows you to take advantage of stocks without having to spend big money. Now, I promise you that we will go over them step by step so you can see how powerful they are and so that you can learn to use them to trade big-time stocks for pennies on the dollar. Now, we're also going to show you a specific strategy that will allow you to place a set-it-and-forget-it trade that may generate incredible rates of return. And this strategy can be used regardless of market direction. And finally, we are going to show you how you can get started with MTI's Ultimate Options course today. Now, notice I said something there. I didn't say tomorrow. I didn't say a week from now. I didn't say 6 months from now. I said today. Now, I want everyone in this room to have the opportunity to work with this education for risk-free starting today. I know that the only way that you're going to be able to make an educated decision is to take the education home and work with it. The only way you will be certain that you want to take advantage of this opportunity is to take it home and try it. And we're going to give you that opportunity to take this education home and try it risk-free. Allow me to introduce the company that is going to be helping you. Market Traders Institute was founded over 20 years ago by a trader for traders. The founder of the company is Jared Martinez. He is an international speaker, a published author that has been instrumental in building investment education that has been used across the world by investors with many different experiences. If you're a stay-at-home mom, a professional trader, MTI's vast knowledge in investing and psychological management techniques can help you become successful. As a matter of fact, take a look at what Lynn here had to say about the MTI's Ultimate Options course. 3 years ago, she paid $5,000 for an options course that left a lot to be desired. And she responded by saying, in 6 hours, I learned more than I did in 6 months. Thank you so much. You guys rock. That was just one testimonial of the many, many, many that you may see here today. So now that you know who we are and who you're working with, let's find out a little bit more about you. So let's find out who we have in the room right now. For all of my stock traders, I'd like you to go ahead and type an S in the chat box if that's you. Give me an S if that's you. D says traded stocks. And I'm sorry, your name is listed as Trader in A. If you'd like, I can have someone reach out to you via phone and make sure that you can hear my voice. Just type in that phone number, and we will make sure that we can assist you in hearing my voice. So Jackson traded options, Roger stocks and options, Phil stocks and options. I got a bunch of options traders, a bunch of stock traders. Now, how many people in here wouldn't know what an option was if it fell off the sky and hit you in the head? Type an ouch if you wouldn't know what an option was and if it fell out of the sky and hit you in the head. I got Sanel, Sonia. You know, a couple of people in here just answered yes to the last 2 questions. That's not good. Regardless, we're going to get everyone up to speed and on the same playing field so that everyone can see how powerful options can be. So let's start by asking this question. What is the difference between trading and investing? Investors are going to take a chunk of money and they're going to put it into the market expecting to get paid down the road. the long term. We've all heard that buy and hold is the only strategy that works. And it is a good, very good strategy, but the only problem with buy and hold is that it requires the market to go one singular way. What direction does the market have to move if buy and hold is going to work? Let's see, Dave has it, Roger has it, Phil has it, Dee has it, John has it. That's correct. It has to go up. Now let me ask you this. Does the market always go up? Yes or no? That's right. Nope. As an investor, you have to ride those ups and downs in the market. And that can be pretty nauseating. As nauseating as riding a roller coaster, except this one is almost never ending. Now let's talk about the mindset of a trader. The trader says, I see that the market is going up. I see that the market is going down. So if I could find a way to take advantage of those movements up and down, I could generate a pretty good living from those moves. Does everyone agree with that? Now the question isn't, can we? It's how can we take advantage of those waves? Let me ask you this. When is the trader looking to make money? Now or 10 years, 20 years from now? When is he looking to, Phil's right there with me. When does the trader need money? Now or later? That's right, now. I mean, do your bills really only come in at retirement? Absolutely not. So we need to learn how to generate some money now. How many of you came here today looking to learn how to make some money? Now, how many of you in here came just to take a nap? Now that I have some of your attention here, let me ask that question again. How many of you in here came here today to learn how to make some money? Now, Phil and Roger, Sanel, and Sanel, I hope I'm saying that name right. Sonia, thank you. G says a lot of money. Now, let me ask you this. Is it really the money that you're after? I mean, do you really just want to rake up a pile of $100 bills and on your living room floor run and jump in them and make money angels? I mean, now, I'm not going to lie. I would like to do that maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times, but it's really not the money that I'm after. We're after what money can provide us, the lifestyle, the financial freedom that money provides for you. You're ultimately really after control. You want control of your finances. You want control of your time. You want to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Now, there are some people out there who have figured this thing out. And you know what they're called? Wealthy. Now, wealthy people allow their money to work for them rather than working for their money. Now, I want you all to know that each and every person in this room is a wealth builder. Whether you're building wealth for yourself or you're building wealth for someone else, you're trading your time for someone else's money. Realize no one is ever going to treat your money like you do, and no one is ever going to pay you what you're worth. I mean, really, if the state of California calls for you to take control of your finances in future, I believe you should. Now, Jam, we will be getting to our guest host here shortly and getting into the meat of this presentation that you came here for. So let me ask you this, and feel free to answer this, Jam. If I can show you a way to spend 30 minutes a day making some extra income, would that be beneficial to your life? Great. The Ultimate Options course will do that for you. Now, how many people do I have in this room that are saying, you know what, I am great at making money in the market. It's the keeping it part that is difficult. That's the part for me that I have a problem with it. Now, what if I could show you how to make money and keep it? I'm going to repeat that. Make money and keep it. Is anybody interested in that? Now, the ultimate options course can help you with that. Who in here is looking to replace your income? Who in this room, Jim, Jerry, Preston, Kishore? That's phenomenal, because the ultimate options course can help you with that. So I know why you are all here. You want to make money. You're after financial freedom. So I would imagine that the question you have in your mind is that, James, if this package is so wonderful, then what the heck are you doing here? You know why I know some of you are thinking that? Because if I was sitting in your seat, I would be thinking the same thing. I have two simple answers to that question. I am here because I can be. I am here because I want to be. I deem myself to be very successful, meaning I have the ability to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and the wherewithal to do so. Pretty good definition of success. How many people agree with that? Now, the second reason that I'm here is I have a passion for teaching. I don't like a teacher's salary. That's why I'm here where I'm at today. I love it when I see someone's eyes light up as they're learning something new. You see, when I started with Market Traders Institute, I was an account executive, and I came to work every single day because of people like you. Those of you sitting in the room right now. They were trading before, and they were a little lost. Or they were finding success, and they were looking for something to give them that next edge to help bring that money in a little easier and a little faster. They were looking for ways to generate income in their lives, and really a way to be a consistent trader. But all that boiled down to was one thing. They were in search of solutions to problems that they were having in their lives. One of my most memorable clients, his name's Greg. When he and I started working together, his marriage was failing, his business was failing. He was going to try trading on for size. He didn't know what he could do to make more money because his business was failing, and that was the strain on his relationship. Well, I'm proud to say in just a few short weeks, he made over $14,000, which A, made his wife happy, B, gave him the confidence to go out and land the biggest contract in his company's history. And I'll tell you that I got word that he made almost $3,000+ while trading in Maya Riviera on vacation. How many people are in search of a lifestyle like that? Jim says he is. Ken says he is. Nate says he is. Kishore, Sonia, Carrie. You know, what I'm going to talk about today, what you're here to see today, will change your life if you allow it to. I know, because it changed my life. You see, I'm the son of a United States Marine officer. I've graduated from Market Traders Institute. I hold a college degree in neuroscience and psychology. I'm a published author, but most importantly, just like each and every one of you, I am a trader. Now, my dream right after college was to go into the military, but I have a hole in my heart, and I was unable to do so. So lost and down, I didn't know what I was going to do. I asked the man I looked up to, my stepfather, for advice, and he handed me a book called Think and Grow Rich. How many people have read this book? Who in here has read this book before? You see, this book taught me two important principles. The first is that I could have anything I ever wanted in life. I just needed to find someone who was successful at what I wanted to do and do exactly what they do, and I should get the same exact result. Could the key to success be that simple? Yeah, it really is. The problem for most is that they don't really know what they want out of life. And that is the second thing I learned from Think and Grow Rich. Successful people know how to make a decision. They are decisive in nature. Realize that everyone in life is given the same opportunities. The people that take advantage of those opportunities are usually called successful. Everybody else is sitting there thinking, I wish my opportunity would come. I wish someone would open my door and let the floodgates bring all this money my way. The thing is that you need to make a decision that success is something that you want. If that is the decision that you want, you need to take the steps required to get you to that point. I just don't know about that decision. Well, not making a decision is actually making a decision. Realize you have to be decisive in nature. Now, how many of you think you are a decisive person? Type in a me right now. Don't worry, I'll give you a couple minutes to decide if you're decisive. You see, some of you still can't decide if you're decisive. I just don't get it. You know, if I ever opened a restaurant, I'd call it, I don't know. Because anytime I ever ask anyone where they want to go to eat, whether it's coworkers, whether it's my mother, whether it's my brothers, whether it's friends of mine, a girl I'm dating, they always say, I don't know. I figure that could make a killing. But thank goodness I found Market Traders Institute, and I learned that you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Now, I'm not the only one that has benefited from Market Traders Institute. Take a look at Valerie, Sarah, Jerry, who have all benefited from Chris Irvin's teaching and his 14 years of options experience in educating and making and creating successful traders. We're going to show you how you too can do this, but before we do, we're going to have to change the way you think to be successful. To me, it's all about choice, chance, and change. The first choice you have to make is to achieve success. And you have to take a chance on someone that is showing you the path to success and make the necessary in your life to have success. Now, there are a couple of things you have to become a successful trader. One, I'd say you need the tools and the skills to get you the information and the hows and whys of trading. I'm going to ask you to make a decision today. Make a decision to know more. A decision that will have a direct impact on your trading. You know, indecisiveness has its price. How many people in here, and for my experienced traders, I want to see some yeses or me's if this is you. You have found the perfect stock opportunity. You have found the perfect stock opportunity and found that the right time to enter. You said, you know what, right now is the right point at which I need to get into this market. And you spot out that buy position. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, you say, nah, I'm going to watch it for a couple of weeks. And then what happens? That's right, it goes up. You know why it went up? Because you didn't buy it. And over those 2 weeks, you missed the opportunity. So then you say, well, maybe now is the time to buy it. And you sit there, and you say, nah, I'm going to watch it for another couple weeks. So you watch it for a couple weeks more, and what happens? It goes up. So finally, a third opportunity presents itself. And you say, you know what? I am getting in. No matter what, I'm getting in. What usually happens at this point? I'm looking for my experienced traders that have any experience trading this market. What generally happens at this point? Phil says it goes down. Retracement. And the market tanks. The market tanks. It's like someone sitting on the other side of the trade saying, everyone sell when he buys. When Roger sells, when Roger buys, when Phil buys, when James buys, when Sonja buys, let's all sell. So you panic and you lose money. How many of you in here think you're experts in picking the wrong stock? That's you. Give me a me. Give me a me. Sure. Well, I'm telling you, it's not the wrong stock. It's just bad timing. You get in at the wrong time. You get out at the wrong time. Timing is important in trading. and the Ultimate Options course is going to help you with timing. Now, a lot of you are in here saying that, James, I understand I need to be a trader, and I need to look at the market a little bit different, but you're talking about options, and I don't even understand what an option is. So let's go there. I'm going to introduce you to Chris Irvin, the Director of Options Education with Market Traders Institute. He's the guy that personally taught me how to trade options, taught me everything I need to know about options. In fact, I placed my first trade with Chris, and the next day the market opened, I was up over $1,000 US. Now, Chris Irvin has been trading for over 14 years, and in that time, thousands of people have had the great fortune to attend his classes and have benefited from his unique way of breaking down complicated concepts into easily understood strategies. Chris has been a frequent contributor to several financial programs, as well as a writer for trading websites like INO, Trade King, and Fox Business. Based on his knowledge and insights of the market, Chris was named an all-star by the Trade King brokerage. He has been called on to instruct both nationally and internationally. And over a year ago, we were fortunate to have Chris join the MTI family. And that's when the decision was made to use Chris's 14 years of options trading experience and educational experience to help create MTI's new Ultimate Options course. So without further ado, I bring to you Chris Irvin. Chris, are you here with us?
I sure am. Hey, thanks for that intro, James. I appreciate it very much.
Not a problem. Go ahead and take it away.
All right. Fantastic. Hey, I'm just going to switch over here and show you my screen. And thank you, Roger. And Ray, hey, good to see you. Ray says, Chris taught me almost 10 years ago. Good to have you back, okay? Thanks, Ray. All right. Everybody else that's with us, got a couple things that I'm going to go over today. We're going to talk, first of all, about the Go Moment strategy that I've created, which includes the DEPO acronym for help identifying which option you should be trading. And we're going to talk about that Apple stock split that just happened a couple days ago. But before we jump into that information, I want you all to know that as James was asking, you know, who spent time in the markets trading stock, who spent time trading options, and finally, who wouldn't recognize an option if it fell out of the sky and hit them in the head. There were quite a few people, actually, that had not had any experience with options. So what I really want to do initially is spend a little bit of time getting to know options from a 30,000-foot level. Just go over the basics of options. You guys that have had some time in the options market, just hang with me. This is going to be real basic for you guys, but we'll get to some other things for you guys to chew on a little bit later on. My objective here is to make sure that everybody has something to chew on before they walk away from this presentation. Is that fair enough? Go ahead and give me a yes if that works for you. Awesome. Okay, you can just type in a Y if it'll go faster. Kishore and Robert and Fernando and Phil, thank you guys. Everybody else that's typing in right now, thank you so much. All right, well, let's just get going with some real basics about options. The question actually comes up, why do we actually trade options? Most people are familiar with the stock market and the fact that you can buy stocks in the market and make good money if that stock starts to move up. Usually what we'll want to do is get involved in good companies that we know and we use every day and we value their products. And the reality is, for a lot of folks, unfortunately, it becomes difficult to trade stocks because sometimes those stocks get to be too expensive for us to participate in those trades. So one of the great things about trading options is that we have the ability to take advantage of stocks like these for really pennies on the dollar. That's what it comes down to. Companies like Chipotle and Best Buy and Facebook and Google and AT&T and Tesla, all those great companies that are in the news right now, you have the ability to participate within them regardless of how much money you have. I guess I shouldn't say that. You got to have some money to trade, right? But let's kind of walk through this and see what kind of leverage is actually applied with options. You see, we could trade Google, and Google's trading right now for right around $550 a share if we were going to trade the stock. But if we wanted to trade the options on Google instead, I could actually trade one share through the option of Google for $35. $35 versus $550. I think that's a little more reasonable. How about IBM? IBM's a world-renowned company. It's all over the place. It's $187 if you want to buy a share, or you can trade the options for about $11 a share. Again, far more reasonable. All right, let's talk about Apple for a second. Apple's trading for roughly $92 a share right now, and the call options for Apple, those are the options that help us take advantage of a stock that's moving up, are trading for about $5 a share. I think most people could probably afford to trade Apple if it was $5 a share, because if you bought 100 shares, you're talking about, or if you wanted to control 100 shares, you're talking about a $500 trade. And I think that's pretty reasonable for a lot of folks. What if that's even a little bit too much money for some people? Well, you've got Best Buy here trading for $29 a share, or you can take advantage of the price movement of Best Buy for $2.73 a share. So it makes trading very reasonable for a lot of folks that might be priced out of the markets otherwise. So the great thing is about options trading is the fact that you can get in for very small amounts, but your rate of return is huge. Now, one of the things that kind of holds people back from trading options sometimes is that they think it's kind of it's a little bit difficult to understand, complicated, if you will. Well, the reality is options can be complicated. There are things called the Greeks that a lot of people feel you have to understand the ins and outs of. There's a thing called the Black-Scholes model that helps us figure out what the pricing should be on an option. But the reality is what I found over the last 10 to 14 years as I've been teaching people all around the world to trade options is that they would prefer just to learn the basics of how you make money with the options and not know necessarily every single little detail about them. Would you guys be in that camp as well, that you'd like to just learn how to make money with options and not necessarily learn all the details of the Black-Scholes pricing formula? Go ahead and give me a yes if you would agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Phil and Sonia and Sunil, I think I'm saying that right, and Kishore and Ethlyn. There's some names that I'm having problems with, and forgive me for that. I know you deserve better than my pronunciation. All right, so let's do this. Let's just get into, again, some real basics about options. Really, when it comes down to it, there are only two different types of options out there. The first is called a call option. A call option, as simply as I can put it, is the right to buy a stock. Okay, a call option is the right to buy a stock. And the other side of the coin is a put option. A put option is the right to sell a stock. So you've got the right to buy and the right to sell wrapped up in a call option and a put option. Now, even those terms can sometimes be a little bit confusing for folks that are just getting started trading options. So let me try to clarify a little bit. If a stock is heading up, we think the stock is moving to the upside, we're going to buy a call option, or at least that's one strategy that we can use. Let's just start there. We're going to buy a call option if we think the stock is heading up in value, because the call is the vehicle that will allow us to make money as the stock moves up. Now, on the other side of the coin, we talked about the put. So if the stock is heading down, we're going to buy a put option. Again, that's just one strategy that you can take advantage of when a stock is heading down. So here we have the ability to make money as the stock moves up with a call option and the ability to make money as the stock moves down with a put option. Now, sometimes even that's a little bit confusing, going up and down in calls and puts. So there is one little trigger that I like to use when I'm trying to remember calls and puts and which way they go. I used this when I first got started. Hopefully it's helpful to you. So if I think about calls and puts from the perspective of a phone, you know, there's an expression that we use typically when we're going to make a phone call. We say we're going to call so-and-so up, okay? So when we say call a person up, or whoever it is that you're trying to call, you can remember that call goes with up. We call that person up. And on the other side of that equation, we're going to typically, when we're done with a conversation, we're going to put the phone, you guys tell me, type it in. We put the phone where? There you go. Kishore and Roger and Phil and Ethlyn and DE, you guys are exactly right. So calls go up because we call a person up, and puts go down because we put the phone down when we're done with a conversation. Hopefully that helps you. My brain was very stressed out when I was trying to learn options, and that really helped me. I like to use a lot of features like that when I'm teaching people how to trade options. So let's kind of take this from the beginning, take a step back, and understand that people out there like to trade stocks, right? Now, we said sometimes those stocks can get a little expensive, so we look at trading options. So let's look at kind of a comparison between how a stock trader might look at a chart and make a trade, and how an option trader might look at a chart and make a trade. So here's from the perspective of a stock trader. What we're looking at right now is a chart that's called a Japanese candlestick chart. And the Japanese candlesticks basically tell us how price is moving over time. We won't get into the details of the candlesticks right now. Just know that this chart's starting in the lower left and ending at the upper right, so the value of this stock is moving up. Now, let's say that on the left-hand side, lower left-hand side, we've got a stock that's trading for $25 a share. All right, 25 bucks. And as that stock runs up in value, eventually in the upper right-hand side of this chart, that stock is now worth $50. You know, most every stock trader out there that looked at a trade like this would probably say that's a pretty nice trade because I got in for $25 and now I can sell the stock for $50. That's a 100% rate of return. Pat yourself on the back, stock trader. That was a good deal. But now let's take a look at how we would deal with this from the perspective of an options trader. Now, let's start with the same $25 stock, all right? But now as an option trader, we're not going to buy the $25 stock to get into the position. Instead, we're going to buy the right to buy the stock. That's a call option. Now, that right to buy the stock is going to give us the right to buy that stock at $25. So we're not actually purchasing the stock. We're purchasing a right to buy the stock. Well, how much is that right going to cost? Let's say in this case, hypothetically, we're going to work with a $5 call option. So it costs us $5 to buy the right to purchase the $25 stock, regardless of what the price is in the future. So as the stock value moves up and we bought our option, eventually, just like before, that stock now moves up from $25 up to $50. But you know what? We purchased the right to buy that stock at $25, and now it's worth $50. So tell me, how much do you think that option is worth? If I have the right to buy the stock for $25 and that stock's currently at $50, if I wanted to take advantage of my right to buy the stock at $25 and then sell it on the open market back for $50, how much money would I be looking at making? Yeah, exactly. Kishore says at least 25 bucks. Everybody else agree with that? There you go, at least 25 bucks. Roger says 25. Give me a yes if you agree with that, and if it makes sense to you up to this point. Perfect. All right, here come the yeses. Thanks, Barbara. Fantastic. Okay, here we go. Now, here's the thing. The last trade I showed you with a stock trader, that was a 100% rate of return. But let's think this through. If I bought this option for $5 and it increased in value, let's say it didn't increase in value by $25. Let's say it increased in value by $20. If I had $5 into it and I made 20 bucks, you know what that rate of return is? That rate of return is 400%. Now, I guess the question has to be, would you rather have a 400% rate of return or a 100% rate of return? Should we make that rhetorical? I think everybody's going to go with a 400% rate of return, right? Yeah, Barbara agrees with me, that's for sure. Okay, let's see how you're doing so far. Again, for the folks that are just getting started trading options, this is kind of a quiz, all right? Now, if you're looking at a chart like this, my question for you is, and this is a chart of Chipotle Mexican Grill, you know they make burritos, very expensive burritos, by the way. Their stock's trading for over $500 a share. Their burritos are $8. I think that's why they're valued so high. Anyway, really good stuff. I like to eat there. You tell me, based on this chart, would we be looking at a call or a put option in expensive tacos? Says Roger and Phil. Yeah, you're exactly right. Everybody that's typing in call right now, you are exactly right. Kishore and Etlin and Stanley and Barbara and Roger and Trader NA. You guys are exactly right. Everybody else, Sonia? Yep, that's a call option. Now let me show you what happens if I decided to get into this trade with a call option. I actually took this trade as a demo trade so I could express to you guys how these trades work themselves out. So Chipotle Mexican Grill. At the time, Chipotle was trading for $409. It's more than that now. But instead of getting in for $409, I went ahead and bought the option, which was $35.80, significantly less than the $400 it would have cost me to buy the stock. As the trade ran its way through, that option ended up being worth $67.60 when I closed the position. This ends up being a profit of $3,180. That was an 89% rate of return in a little over 2 months, and I would refer to this as kind of a set it and forget it kind of trade. there's a couple of different trading styles that I really appreciate. One of them is more of a set it and forget it kind of trade. You get in, you know exactly where your entry is, you know what your worst case scenario is, and you're comfortable with it. You let the trade run and make your money. Others are kind of appointment style trades, and I'll express to you what that means in just a little bit. Now, let me show you exactly how I would go about finding a trade. You see, I consider my trading style to be go moment trading. All right, go moment trading. Go moment trading really revolves around the fact that you know exactly what the entry is, you know exactly what your risk is in the trade, and you know exactly which option you should be purchasing. So I really break it down into these three pieces. All right, the first one is to evaluate the entry point. The second is to designate the proper option you should be trading. And finally, you want to be able to participate in the trade using proper money management. So let me walk you through those three steps here and see if they make sense to you and if you think you could follow them. Let's talk first about evaluating a proper entry point. Now, this is a chart I might look at. This is a chart of the Qs, triple Qs, and it's a tracking stock, ETF, that follows the NASDAQ 100. Now, when I'm looking for an entry point, what I'm looking for is what we call points of confluence. Now, that's a point where I have three or more indicators that are all coming to the same conclusion at the same point on the chart. When I have multiple indicators telling me where I should get in, I feel pretty good about that. It's almost like being a detective in the market, where I'm searching for clues that I can stack a bunch of clues together to draw one conclusion. And that's what I do in the markets when I'm looking at charts. So I use Japanese candlesticks, trends and trend lines, support and resistance levels, moving averages, Fibonacci retracements and extensions, and ABCD price swings to determine where my entry point should be. When I have 3 points of confluence coming together at the same place, I feel pretty confident about my entry point. If I only have one, I might question that entry and pass on the trade. So this is the main thing that I teach as far as technical analysis within the Ultimate Options course. And people seem to like this because it builds their confidence in a trade. I don't know, has anybody ever been in a trade where they thought about getting in and they just looked at the chart and they found their option they're going to trade and they're got their finger over the mouse button, but they just can't press it because they just can't decide. And then they press the mouse button, they jump back, and they just don't know what's going to happen. Almost the computer's going to explode. Have you ever felt that way before? Yeah, absolutely. You know what? There's a lot of us that have. If you haven't experienced that indecision, I'm telling you, you probably don't do a lot of trading. But this is what Go Moment Trading is all about, eliminating that feeling. So let me show you how that evaluate phase actually works on a chart. So again, let me ask you the same question that I asked before. If you're looking at a chart like this happens to be a Best Buy. Would you buy a call or a put based on this chart initially? Go ahead and let me know. Yeah, absolutely. Phil and Trader NA and Stanley and Sonia and Sunil and Ethelyn, you guys, you're very consistent. I appreciate that feedback. Roger, yep, call option is right. Well, Roger, you might be a little upside down, and Sunil a little upside down as well. But the call option is where I go with this. Now, let me show you a chart, okay? And the way that I would evaluate the chart. Now, this is my charting software here, and this is a chart of Best Buy. Now, this is actually the time frame when I got into this trade. So why did I decide to enter into the position? Well, there's a couple of things going on here. This is the time frame that I was looking at when I got into the trade. Why? Well, one thing is we have a bounce off of a trend line, and that would be one indicator telling me that there's a potential move higher. Another one would be the fact that we have what's considered to be old resistance, this area right here, acting as a resistance level. And once the stock breaks through that resistance level and turns over and comes back, it finds support at that same line. So we say old resistance is new support. And finally, I have a Japanese candlestick formation that involves 5 candles, but it is considered to be a morning star formation, and that is a bullish formation. So here was my entry point into the trade. Does that make sense? 3 points of confluence all coming together at the same place, and that gives me the confidence to enter into the trade. Does that make sense? Go ahead and give me a yes if that makes sense. Perfect. Everybody that's typing in yes, I really appreciate the feedback, okay? All right. Now, Stanley, that's an excellent question, but that's the next step that we're talking about. So we found our entry point on Best Buy. Now, the next question is, which option should we be trading on Best Buy? Well, okay, Best Buy. This is actually not an option chain of Best Buy. This is actually an option chain of Apple, but it'll serve the purpose here. You see, option chains are the places you go to find the option that you should be trading. And the unfortunate part of trading options is the fact that there can be literally thousands of potential options you could be trading. And the question is, which one are you supposed to choose out of those potentials? Well, I actually took that upon myself to try to figure out what makes the most sense for traders to set themselves up to be positive and profitable in trades. And I came up with this acronym. I told you I like these little triggers. This acronym is called DEPOT, D-E-P-O-T. Now, the DEPOT, each letter in DEPOT represents one of the 5 most important components to choosing an option, at least in my opinion. They are the delta, the expiration, the premium, the open interest, and time value and how it relates to intrinsic value. 5 components that if you choose the right option, these components will all line up in the same place. So what if we backed into this? What if I gave you criteria that you could look for the delta, for the expiration, for the premium, for the open interest, and for the time value? Very simple criteria that really you could just use a checklist to walk through and make sure that the option you're looking at meets all of that criteria. Do you think that would be helpful to you? Go ahead and give me a yes if you think that would be helpful to have a checklist to walk through. If I gave you all the criteria to look for, do you think you could walk down that checklist and make sure that the option you're looking at meets all those criteria? Absolutely. Guys, it does make a difference which option you choose. And I will have, I hate to bring this up, but there's a lot of times where people struggle with trading options because they don't know which option they should be trading. Guys, I want the DEPOT method to be the reason that you become a successful trader, because now you know which option you should be trading based on the DEPOT. So what do we do for our students? We actually created the DEPOT checklist. I've got one for a long call. I've got one for a long put, so you can actually figure out which option you should be trading, whether or not you're moving up or moving down in the market. And a lot of people have found this to be the thing that makes the difference in their trading. So there you go. So we've been through 2 of the 3 factors that make up go moment trading: evaluate, designate, and finally participate. Now, when we talk about participating, here's the thing. We cannot ignore the #1 rule of trading. And that #1 rule of trading is capital preservation. Guys, I know a lot of times people get really excited about a chart, they get really excited about an option, and they want to jump right in. But unfortunate part of it is that they don't recognize what their risk potential is in the trade. And that really has got to be your #1 consideration before you get into a trade. Capital preservation. Take this one to the bank. If you don't have money in your account, you're not going to be trading. So the #1 rule is try to protect the capital that you have. So I came up with something called the MTI Equity Trade Map. And this trade map is designed to help people walk through a position so that they can tell what their potential reward is and what their potential risk is. Now, I'm going to actually show you how the MTI Equity Trade Map works so you can get a feel for it. Okay, this is actually it. Everybody that goes through the Ultimate Options course gets access to this. Now, I'm just going to type in some basic information on the left-hand side, and all the information on the right-hand side, the potential reward, the potential loss, and the ratios, that's all going to get filled in automatically by the program. So, account size. Account size is simply going to be the amount of money that you have to work with when you're trading, whatever's in your account. I'm just going to say hypothetically $10,000. Now, maybe you have that much, maybe you don't, maybe you've got more. It doesn't matter right now. I'm just giving you an example. Now, maximum acceptable loss, this is how much money I'm willing to give up based on the size of my trading account in each individual trade. So in this case, if I put in 2% of my account size, that means that I'm willing to risk $200 in each trade. Now I have to put in some stock information. Let's say hypothetically I'm looking at a stock that's trading for $20. And I'm looking at maybe the possibility of buying 100 shares. Now, why do I have to put in stock information if I'm actually trading options? Well, it's because I want to be able to compare the two, the stock trade versus the option trade. And I'm going to have that information on the right-hand side when I get done filling out the trade map. Now I'm going to put in some information about the option. The option premium, that's simply how much the option is going to cost me per share. So I'm going to say $2.50. Hypothetically, on a $20 stock, that sounds pretty reasonable. Now, the number of contracts has to do with the number of shares that I want to control. Now, a standard size contract controls 100 shares. So I'm just going to put a 1 in here. If I chose a mini contract right here, that's only going to control 10 shares at a time. Now, keep in mind, not every stock out there has mini contracts available. They're usually only reserved for very expensive stocks that people might have difficulty actually affording the option trade. But because we're looking at an option that's $2.50, I'm just going to go with the standard size, which means we're controlling 100 shares of stock. Now, the last piece of information here I have to type in is going to be the options delta. We haven't spoken much about that. That's something that you'll learn a whole lot more about in the Ultimate Options course. But just for now, understand that the options delta basically tells us how much our options premium is going to move, so how much money we're going to make, based on a $1 movement of the underlying stock. So if my stock moves $1, let's say I have a delta of 0.74, that means that I'm going to make 74 cents every time the underlying stock moves $1. Does that make sense? Give me a yes if that makes sense. Awesome. Everybody that's typing it in, I appreciate it. And Sonia, hang with me there. There's something that's missing for you, but that's all right. We'll clear it up in a little bit, okay? Now, here we go. The resistance level and the support level. This is where our technical analysis is going to come into play. So our resistance level is going to be a price point on the chart that we say, if we've hit this price point on the chart, I should consider taking my profits. Let's say hypothetically that's $35 on this trade. The support level is going to be based on a certain level on the chart where I say, you know what, if this trade turns around and comes back on me, if it breaks below this level, I should probably get out of the trade. Let's say here we're looking at $18. All right. Now, essentially what I've done is I've outlined the trade on the left-hand side. But on the right-hand side, you see we've got potential reward and we've got potential loss. Now, the potential reward, that's all good and well. The thing that's important here is that I've got a take profit price, which is a target of $34.65. So I know where I should be getting out now. And then I know how much I could make on the stock in the option trade. The more important phase to this, I don't really care, I mean, I care about the profits, but what I really want people to focus in on is what's the potential loss in the trade. You see, originally when we start out filling out this information, we put in the maximum loss we're willing to accept on any one trade. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that the potential risk in the trade is not any more than the maximum we're willing to give up in a trade. If we're looking at a stock trade that we could lose $218, we might say, oh, it's close. But if it's much more than that, we might want to skip on the trade. But if you look at the option trade, it looks like our maximum risk in this trade is $161.32, and our maximum risk that we're willing to take is $200, so that fits nicely within our range. So when it comes to the MTI equity trade map, you got a green light on this option trade based on risk. And look at this. This trade has the potential of making $1,084 on a $250 trade. Again, that's about a 400% rate of return. Now, do you guys think that that would be helpful to know what your risk is before you get into a trade along the way? Give me a yes if you think that, yeah, that would be pretty helpful. Absolutely. I think it is difficult for people to actually figure out what the risk is in the position. We also give you the stop loss position, and I'm going to teach you how to use something called a contingency-based stop loss. Really cool. We won't get into it right now. But those are the three components that go into go moment trading. We evaluate, we designate, and we participate. Does that make sense, y'all? Give me a yes if you're tracking with me up to this point. Perfect. Okay, so let's circle back around. We're going to take a look at this Best Buy chart again and see how the trade actually worked out. So I'm going to pull up my chart once again. And remember, we entered in this point because we had a point of confluence. And we're going to start moving to the right here. And we start to move up, 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 up. You guys tell me, are we actually starting to make some money at this point? You think? I think so too. Yeah, actually we're doing really, really well here in this trade. Moving up, we got a gap up in price, and you see that little yellow circle there? That's actually where I decided to enter or to exit the position. Now, why did I decide to exit the position there? Well, it comes back to these things called Fibonacci ratios, and I won't spend all my time getting into it, but I will just tell you this, that if I connect my Fibonacci's right there to where they're supposed to be, and you guys probably aren't familiar with how we use Fibonacci's, but once you are familiar with how we use Fibonacci's, if I move my cursor up to this red line up here, I know that the first opportunity for me to jump out of this trade is right at this high point right here. There's some more explanation that needs to go along with that, but I don't have time for it right now. So I got out of the position at this level, and where did the trade end up going? Well, again, here was a demo trade to show you exactly how this trade worked out. When I got in, the stock was at $37.26, but the option was trading for $4.25. When I closed the position, the option was worth $11.20. That was a $695 profit on one contract, which means it was 164% rate of return in 64 days. How's that sound? Not a bad trade, right? Should I pat myself on the back? If you didn't say yes, you should be, because if you can make 164% with a set it and forget it trade, you're going to be happy, happy, happy. All right, the other type of trading that I really like to do is what I refer to as appointment style trades. Appointment style trades are based on events. Okay, these are go moment trades too. I know exactly where the entry point is, and I know exactly what to do with the trade. Now, appointment trades. One type of appointment trade has to do with a stock split, and that may be why some of you are here to talk about the Apple stock split. That's where we're going, but let me explain to the folks that don't understand stock splits how this actually works. Sometimes there are companies out there that decide that they want to chop the value of their stock price in half, maybe to be more competitive with another company out there that's trading in the same sector. Maybe you've got a company like Dick's Sporting Goods and a company like Sports Authority, or a company like Walmart competing against a company like Target. Those competitors are competing for your dollars as far as entering into a stock trade, because the more people that want their stock, the more likely prices will go up. Well, you know what? If one of those companies has a stock that's worth $100 and another company, just as good a company, has a stock that's worth $50, the vast majority of traders that are looking to get into a trade are going to get into the stock that's at $50 just because they can buy more shares. If you have more shares, as the price moves up, you make more money. So the company at $100 might decide to split their stock price in half down to $50. Now, what's that mean for the investor that actually owns that share? Well, that just means that they get an extra share if it's a 2-for-1 stock split. So now, instead of having one share at 100, they have two shares at 50. Now, that's a pretty cool deal, and this happens all the time in the market. The really cool thing about a stock split, though, is that stocks have a tendency to have what I call an equilibrium value. Now, an equilibrium value is a stock price that stocks are comfortable trading at. It's kind of like each of us. I think for me, if I want to try to lose 5 or 10 pounds because summer's coming up and I want to look really good at the beach, which is going to be a stretch, let me tell you. If I want to lose those 5 or 10 pounds, what happens is I can knock them off, but I have a tendency to float right back up 5 or 10 pounds. I don't know if that happens to you, but you know what? Stocks have the same situation going for them. So if a stock gets cut in half to 50, a lot of times, not always, but most of the time, that stock's going to rise back up to the price where it was originally split from. And that turns out to be a really nice deal for everybody that owns that stock, because you used to have one share of stock at 100, and now you have 2 shares of stock at 100. That means that you just made 100% rate of return for not doing anything other than owning the shares. That's a pretty good deal. Now, Microsoft did this 9 times since going public in 1986, and I just want to show you the progression here. You see, each one of these little circles is a split. So there's a stock split, and there's a run-up, and a stock split, and a run-up, and a stock split, and a run-up, and a split, and run-up, split, and run-up, split, and you see how it works. Now, not too long ago, Under Armour had the same thing happen. It's split twice since 2005, and the most recent one was April 14th, 2014. Now, let me show you exactly what happened with Under Armour. Under Armour has a tendency, as well as every other stock split out there, to follow a 4th phase progression. And the third phase happens just after the stock actually splits. It's called the post-execution dip. So the stock splits, and then it pulls back. So if we were to look at Under Armour on this screenshot, you can see that Under Armour actually split right in here. Well, you can't see that. I'm just telling you that it happened. It split right in here. It ran up a little bit, and then what did it do? It retraced. That's the post-execution dip. Now let me show you exactly what has happened to Under Armour since the post-execution dip. That's the same chart. Right here's where the split happened. Came down, bounced, and a nice run up. That's about 15 bucks. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, let's think about how this could affect the Apple stock split. All right? Now, if we're trading options, let's go back to the Under Armour split for a second. If we're trading options, and let's say we got into that option about $7 a share, which is very reasonable, and Under Armour increased by $50. And you know what? Under Armour did split from around 50 bucks, or from around $100 down to about 50. My target for Under Armour is 100 again. So if Under Armour increases by $50, and if I was to buy that option for 7 bucks, ultimately the rate of return would work out to be about 700%, give or take. Not a bad deal. Now let's walk through this same situation with Apple. Now Apple had its stock split on June 9th, which was a 7-for-1 stock split, not a 2-for-1. That's kind of a crazy number. But the reality was Apple, they're thinking about putting Apple in the Dow 30. And Apple at $600 or $700 a share wouldn't fit in the Dow 30 without blowing apart the whole average. So what they did was they split it into a number that would make it reasonable to fit Apple into the Dow 30. And that's why they did it that way. Well, you can see Apple's done the same thing in the past. It splits and it runs up, it splits and it runs up, and it split again on June 9th. Okay? Now, Apple, if we get into that option at about 8 bucks, and it's a long-term trade now, this is a set it and forget it kind of trade, this is going to be 8 months to a year out, if Apple increases by $100, now remember, it was at between $600 and $700 when it split. So if it actually just increases by $100 from where it's at, which I think is very reasonable, you're going to end up with an option that's not worth 8 bucks. It's an option that's worth $78. And that, my friends, would be an 875% rate of return. Anybody be happy with an $875 rate of return or percent rate of return? Yeah, exactly. Everybody's typing in yes. Now, okay, so when do you get into this trade? Let's go back to my charts again. Okay, now here's 2 charts on Apple. One's a day chart and one's a 30-minute chart. All right. Now here's what happened. This little red circle here, this actually designates when Apple did its split. This was the day it split. Now what did it do? It ran up and then it pulled back. So what is this? This is the third phase of the stock split strategy, and it is known as the post-execution dip. So there's a lot of people that said, oh, I'm going to get into this thing right after it splits. It's going to go up. Well, unless you have the education behind you to understand how these things work, you would be in a world of hurt right now because the stock is moving backwards on you, and you'd be saying, what is going on? Well, here's what I'm after. I'm after a specific entry point, and that specific entry point looks like this. We've got a retracement down. Oh, I'm going to take this off so that we can get a better look at what I'm doing here. Delete, delete, delete. Okay, here's what I'm after. I'm after a certain pattern, and that pattern is going to go like this. We're going to have a move down, which is symbolized by this move here. And then we're going to have a move up that sets a low in place. And that move up is right here. Now, the next move I'm anticipating is a move down that sets a higher low in relationship to this low. So it doesn't quite go down as far as this one, right? And then it's got to be followed by a move higher above this line right here, this high point. So if I draw a line right there, that is where I'm going to try to enter into this position, okay? Once we break this level. Now I call this the Big Dipper. It's a move down, a move up. This would be essentially my cup. This part right here is my handle. And if my handle breaks above the right-hand rim of the cup, that's my entry point. So this is my 30-minute chart right here, and you can kind of see that I've got the top of my rim drawn in. So we move up, we retrace back to here, and I'm waiting for this to happen, but we're not there yet. As a matter of fact, we had another down day today. We'll see where the market ends up today, but that is essentially the first piece of information I'm looking for when I want to enter into my Apple stock split trade. Does that all make sense to you? Did I explain that well enough? Go ahead and give me a yes if that makes sense. Perfect. So we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there, and I think we've got some great potential about getting into this Apple stock split. Now, I tell you, we have a tendency to talk about these things during what we call the Monday Morning Spy class, which starts at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time and closes out at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We just talk about what's going on in the market, any setups, what we need to be watching for that week, and I think it's a very valuable time for the folks that are in our education. Now, another go moment trade that I want to point out to you, and I'll make this go really quick because I know that you guys have things to do today, is I like go moment trades or appointment style trades that revolve around earning announcements. If you're not familiar with a strategy called a straddle, you got to learn it. A straddle is the ability to take both sides of a trade. So if I know that there is a time frame when a company is going to declare their earnings announcements, which can be a very volatile time, and most people will back away from a trade at that period of time, I'll go right at it and buy a straddle. That's buying a call and buying a put at the same time. Now, I'm not going to get into all the details, but this is what happened with Chipotle not long ago. Chipotle opened up after its earnings announcement $60 higher than it closed the day before. My call option skyrocketed in price, and my put option decreased a little bit. So how did I end up in this trade? Well, looked at okay, got in on the 30th of January, buying the call and buying the put, and got out on the 31st of January, which is the next day, selling the call and selling the put, made 30% rate of return overnight, $1,659. Is that a strategy you guys think you would like to just kind of mark a couple of days on your calendar when you know that there are some significant trades or earnings announcements coming up? We can help you identify those significant earnings announcements, okay, that we need to take advantage of. Here's another one, GMCR. This was on 5/7 of 2014, not too long ago. GMCR opened up $15.95 higher the next day. That was 17% up. What's this trade do? This trade, I bought it on the 7th and sold it on the 8th, and that was 23% rate of return overnight. Guys, this is just one strategy, right? One strategy of many that we like to teach, but it's an appointment style trade, and I think that the appointment style trade really works for people who have busy lifestyles and don't want to sit in front of the computer all the time. So since January, when I started keeping track of these straddles, I haven't made very many. There's 13 here. Not all of them are winners. You're never going to be 100% on these things. I've got 4 out of 13 that went against me, but I made almost $7,000 on this, okay? So $7 grand. At the end of the year, if you made an extra 14 grand, just trading this one strategy, would that make a difference for you? Would it do anything for your lifestyle? Could you take an extra vacation? Could you maybe buy a car? I don't know. Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a fantastic strategy for busy people. So when we wrap it all up here, we understand that we've got strategies for going long in the market. So if the stock's going up, we've got strategies going down in the market. We've got strategies when there's volatility in the market. And we've got strategies for people that just don't want to sit in front of the computer all day. That is what kind of encompasses all of go moment trading. Confidence in your trade and knowing when to get in and when to get out. I know it sounds simple, and when it comes right down to it, it's really not that difficult. So James, does all that make sense to you?
It absolutely does, Chris. And one of the other things that I'd like to point out to everybody is how much market opportunity exists for each and every one of you. You see, because of earnings season coming up in the next coming months, because of the straddle opportunity that Apple has presented itself right now, we have to realize and acknowledge how much opportunity is actually there in the market. So I ask you all this. How many people in here are going to be MTI's next success story? Give me a Y or yes if that's you. Give me a me if that is going to be you, the next success story. Tim is with me. I don't know who Trader NA is, but he's with me. Jim, Kishore, Kenneth, Mark, Terry, Sonja, Brenda. Now, for those of you that didn't answer, you're probably thinking that you're either lucky in this market or you're not. Well, to me, luck is the last dying wish of those that think that success can happen by accident. You know, I really don't believe in luck. I got involved in a discussion with a buddy of mine who's a poker player. And I said, poker's all luck. He said, no, it's not. There's skill involved. He had just come back to the World Series of Poker and actually for the World Series of Poker, this same gentleman. He said, I'm going to prove to you that poker is skill. Sit down at the table right there, and I'm going to tell me who the donor is. I said, the donor, what's that? It is a person who has no idea what they're doing. They're constantly throwing pot again. Okay, well, so I am getting, everyone else can't hear the sound of my voice. Great. Now, realize that you are constantly getting your market over and over again, trying to learn a system that is much bigger than you. And the big boys have no problem taking your money from you over and over again. The playing field is not level. It's a wealth transfer system. It takes money from those who don't know what they're doing and gives it to them. The good news is that it only takes a little bit of information and the right tools to help you get to the other side of the table. You don't have to be the donor any longer. So how many people do I have in this room with me today that are ready to take 30 minutes a day to change their life? Would you set aside 30 minutes a day if you thought that you're amazingly enough, some of you still would come up with excuses that won't work for you. And whether you think it will or you think it won't, you're absolutely right. You have no idea the excuses that I've heard. As I got too much on my plate, I'm just too busy, I got stuff going on, I just don't know. Remember, I just don't know is a decision. No decision is a decision, isn't it? $30 minutes a day to change your life. If you're not doing that, then you probably shouldn't have spent the time listening to this webinar today. I'm just being honest with you. The Ultimate Options course levels the field for you. This package is the most complete, turnkey, easy to use, step by step on the plan. Now it's going to start off with the Success Now 2-day seminar. This is 2 days to take advantage of what it used to take students 4 to 6 weeks to get to. You get to learn directly from the pro himself. How many people benefited from Chris Irvin's presentation today? How many people learned something? If it's you, give me a me. Irene, Luke, Tim, Tyler, Ethlyn, Sonja, Brenda, Greg, thank you. Because imagine what spending, you just spent 20 minutes with him, 10 minutes with him. Imagine what spending a lifetime of having his education with you, breaking down complicated market concepts into easy to understand. And Sanel, if you're want us to give you a call, type in your phone number right now. We'll make sure that we give you a call at the appropriate time, and give me a time that would be the best to reach you. But I'm looking for your phone number. Oh, okay, Sanel, thank you. I got your phone number. Thank you already. Now, in the first 2 days of this event, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get an in-depth and thorough understanding of the lessons that you will go through in MTI's education. And on the second day, you will get to experience live practical application of the principles taught in these lessons. And when you're while you're applying these principles, if a trade setup presents itself, you will have the benefit of an options market veteran to help you potentially start making money. Today, I'm going to include this for a lifetime when you get involved with the Ultimate Options course today. Now, next up is the Financial Freedom Online University. This is an at-home, on-demand, step-by-step learning package that I want you to have because it will ensure you understand how to properly trade the options market. This is where you'll drive home the principles. I wanted you to have this so we can ensure that all of your questions will be answered. You will have access to this as well for a lifetime. If you liked what Chris showed you in the steps to options trading, then this is going to be perfect for you. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm including our Monday morning SPY program and our top op alerts to help reinforce your education. You'll receive emails of top stock options that are poised to move. Maximize your potential in the market as you utilize a market veteran's experience to potentially help you make more money while learning. Now, you have a special pass to have these for the next 3 months. Ladies and gentlemen, these are like your training wheels to help you get off and going and find that market opportunity. Our goal is to teach you how to fish while giving you some fish to move forward with. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you will also have access to the Equity Trade Map Checklist. This, what you saw today, will help you understand where your stops, your limits, your risk, your reward, your entry points, and how you can preserve your capital and not give it to the market, so you're not the donor. Now, I'm going to include this for you today, and you will have this trade map checklist for a lifetime. You're also going to get access to the depot checklist. Now, for every stock that is optionable, there are hundreds of options to choose from. How do I know which one to trade? We're going to give you a method of sifting through them that will eliminate 90 to 95% of all options, leaving you with only the best opportunities. MTI's depot checklist will outline the proper rules to use. How many people in here can follow rules? If you could follow rules, type a me into the chat section right now. Now, some of you can't follow rules, and that's okay. We'll just have to take a little bit extra time and have to work on you. But you're going to have to be able to follow rules and apply them, because this will allow you to choose the correct options to trade. Now, to me, this is absolutely priceless, and you'll have this for a lifetime as well. Lastly, you're going to receive access to live and archived classes. You'll have access to a 14-year veteran, a top educator, creator of the Ultimate Options course, all live or recorded as he goes through the principles of the course and assists you all along the way. You will have access to this forever. Now, let's break this all down again. The Success Now 2-day seminar, the Financial Freedom Online University, the SPY program and Top Op Alerts program, Equity Trade Map Checklist, Depot Checklist, weekly online classes. Ladies and gentlemen, this could all be valued at over $4,000. But let me ask you this question. If all this package did for you was help you generate several $1,000s month after month after month, would it be worth the investment? Yes or no? Type your answer in the chat box right now. If all this package did for you was help you ensure that you have the money to retire with, would it be worth the investment? Yes or no? Luke, thank you. Greg, thank you. Brenda, thank you. Phil, thank you. Greg, thank you. And if all this package did for you was allow you to travel, whether it's just to another state, another city, or another country, to visit family and friends and to live the lifestyle that you deserve to live, would it be worth this investment? Now, folks, I believe in this package so much that everything I'm showing you today is going to be backed by our 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. For the next 60 days, if we guarantee that we will provide you every tool that we believe necessary to become a successful options trader. And after completing the education, you're not satisfied, we will give you a 100% refund on your tuition. Now, we all know that Saturday starts summer. So today, you're not going to pay $4,077. Your risk-free investment today and today only will be $1,995. You have my permission now, Barbara, Sonia, Ethelyn, to type in that phone number. I'm looking for you to finally make the decision to get involved with a course that will help propel you to your success. You see, one of the things that goes on in our life is a lot of times we don't know how to make a decision because everything in your life from the time you were born to today has been planned out for you. So when you were born, you were told when to eat. When you go to school, you're told when to leave and when to change classes. When you go to college, you're told the same thing. At work, you're told when to take lunch. You don't know how to make a decision. Right now, I am empowering you all to type in your phone number and get involved with the Ultimate Options course. Now, Jam asked me to comment on the Monday Morning Spy program. Jam, go ahead, type in your phone number, and talk to one of our education specialists that will help walk you through that program step by step by step. Now, for each and every one of you, I want you to know that there are two options for you all. Two options. You can either get involved in option A and save $1,000 today, making this education $1,995. So Luke, Brenda, Phil, Tyler, Sam, I got all of your phone numbers, but are you going to take advantage of option A, or are you going to take advantage of option B? Now, I can't give you the savings, but what I can do is allow you to get involved for this risk-free investment for the next 60 days for $500. Sonia, are you going to take advantage of option A or option B to save that $1,000 and still get that 60 days, or option B to get involved for $500 and still get that 60 days to decide if this education is for you? Sonia says option B. Sonia, thank you. And Tyler and Sam, what about yourself? Option A or option B? Okay, Tyler, I see you said option A. Thank you for that. Sam, you're taking advantage of option A as well. That savings is phenomenal. Jake, option B for you. Thank you as well for that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now is the time. We all just said that decisiveness has to be now. We all said that we had to make a decision today to get involved in an educational course that would ultimately benefit you today. Because we all know that what we do today, if we take today and make today our day that we plan for our success, that we are that closer to the successes that we're looking for in life. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving each and every one of you 100% approval. We will ensure that you can either take advantage of option A and option B. How much risk is involved in this for you? Type that in right now. How much risk is involved in this course for you today? That's right, 0. What do you have to lose? When you have 60 days to evaluate, find out if this market is right for you. Find out if you will benefit from a 14-year options educator, and find out whether or not that you can be successfully trained on this, utilizing the Ultimate Options course. You're going to have 60 days to evaluate that for yourself. This is a risk-free investment. Now, I'm looking forward to each and every one of you getting involved in this options course today. Now, for those of you that can't afford to get involved with option A, like Brenda and Mary and Sam, I look forward to seeing your next success story. And for those of you that can only do option B, that's okay, because you're on your way. Don't let your hopes, wants, and wishes in life go to the graveyard. That is the richest place on this earth, because inventions that never came to fruition, ideas that never made it past the human brain, go to die there. If you found something that you're looking for, if you have the slightest inkling that you could do this with Chris's help, then now is the time that you type in your phone number and take action on that. Your hopes, your wants, your wishes, they will never get you anywhere but point you into the direction that you are at right now. And at this junction, at this moment, at this time, this is when you need to take advantage of what is set in front of you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've almost gone over our 90 minutes today. And I'm going to give every single one of you an opportunity to get up off the sidelines and get involved with this education. Get up off the sidelines and get involved with this education. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a timer, and I'm going to give you all the opportunity to get involved with this education and understand how you can get it at absolutely no cost. How you can get everything you invest back in this education today. But only for those people that type in their phone number in the next 1 minute and 30 seconds with the word free next to that will qualify. So I'm looking for you. For those of you that are still sitting on the sidelines, it's now time to act. Failing to act will always lead to failure. Type in that phone number now, put the word free next to it, and at least have the conversation. John, thank you for that. I got your phone number. Is John going to be the only one in the next 1 minute and 10 seconds to take advantage of this opportunity? If that is, then John, I applaud you. Because I see that you want this education, but you want to know how you can get it for free. Chris, thank you as well for typing in that phone number. Let's learn about this opportunity today. Sonia, thank you as well. I got your phone number earlier, and I see that you also want to know how you can get this for free. Jose, if you are interested in that, type in your phone number as well. I need that number so that we can reach you and make sure that our education specialist who takes care of MTI's Ultimate Options course can reach you on time. Ellie, are you looking for this for free as well? Ladies and gentlemen, what is the worst that could happen? You have a conversation and with an education specialist, and he will help you evaluate whether or not you can do this. This is a free conversation. There's no strings attached. You have the ability to talk to someone who helps people every day. Jose, thank you as well for typing in your phone number. Ellie, thank you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you can hear that sound, but that is the sound of my phone, my timer going off. For those of you in here, that's all I have. If you're still interested in finding out whether or not options is right for you and how to take advantage of those options, then I'd like you to go ahead, move forward, and type in that phone number now with the word free next to it. I want to thank each and every one of you for being intentional about your growth and your success today. Realize that your hopes, your wants, your wishes are just a phone call, potentially a phone call away. You have to have a plan to get there. We are 6 months through the year now. Chris, we will be calling you on your phone number, whatever you provided to you. And we will be calling most likely from a 407 number. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I was saying there is we are 6 months through the year. 6 months ago in January, you set a goal for yourself. If you're not anywhere close to achieving that goal, then you need to seriously reevaluate what you're doing and the opportunities that have taken place in front of you. You have to take advantage of opportunities of a lifetime in the lifetime of that opportunity. I understand no one woke up today saying, I want to become a better options trader. And no one woke up today and saying, I need more education. But that's what's been presented to you. And failure to act will always lead to failure. Thank you all for your time today. This has been James Bishop and Chris Urban.